Last week, two men walked into my clinic within hours of each other. They were both 63 years old, yet the difference between them was impossible to ignore. The first gentleman entered cautiously. He reached for the doorframe to steady himself before taking another step. When he finally sat down, he lowered himself into the chair as if he no longer trusted his own body. I smiled and asked, "How have you been feeling lately?" He sighed and replied, "Doctor, I guess this is just what getting old feels like." Later that same afternoon, another 63-year-old man walked through the very same door. His posture was upright, his stride was confident. When we shook hands, his grip was solid, and there was a spark of energy in his eyes. I asked him the exact same question. He smiled without hesitation and said, "Honestly, doctor, I feel like my best years are still ahead of me. Same age, completely different mindset, completely different body. And the reason had nothing to do with luck. It wasn't genetics. It wasn't money. It came down to 7 specific abilities. 7 things one man had continued practicing while the other had gradually stopped doing years before. If you can still do these 7 things today, you're not simply surviving your 60s. You're thriving in them. Unfortunately, most men over 60 have spent decades hearing the same message from society, that growing older automatically means becoming weaker, that slowing down is unavoidable, that your strongest years are already behind you, and that all you can do now is accept the decline with dignity. I want to tell you something that may surprise you. That belief is one of the most harmful myths a man can accept. My name is Dr. Narita. For the past 12 years, I've worked with men over the age of 60 in clinical practice, and after seeing thousands of patients, one lesson has become impossible to ignore. Age itself doesn't make men weak. Giving up does. Today, I want to help you discover where you truly stand. We're going to go through 7 practical markers. Think of them as 7 personal checkups that reveal how well your body and mind are really functioning. As we go through each one, answer honestly. This isn't about judging yourself. It's about becoming aware, because honest awareness is always the first step toward protecting your health or rebuilding it. And before we begin, remember something extremely important. Every one of these abilities can still improve. At 60, at 70, even at 80, none of them are permanently fixed. Your body responds to how you use it. Now let's begin. Marker number 1, the floor test, a measure of functional strength. Here's my first question. Can you sit on the floor and stand back up again without using your hands? No grabbing a chair. No pushing yourself up with both arms. No rolling onto your knees first. Simply standing up using the strength of your legs and the stability of your body. If you're able to do it comfortably, you're already performing better than a large percentage of men in your age group. This isn't just a fun challenge. It's actually one of the most powerful indicators of healthy aging. Researchers in Brazil followed more than 2,000 adults and discovered something remarkable. The simple ability to rise from the floor without assistance was strongly linked with longer life expectancy. Not lifting heavy weights, not running marathons, this single movement, why is it so important? Because it requires several systems to work together at once. Strong legs, flexible hips, a stable core, good balance, healthy coordination. When all of those abilities combine smoothly, they reveal something doctors often call your functional reserve, the body's ability to stay independent and resilient throughout everyday life. During my 12 years of treating older men, I've found that this simple movement often tells me more about someone's future health than many laboratory tests. If you tried it just now and struggled, don't become discouraged. Instead, start retraining your body. Spend time sitting on the floor every day, not on the couch, not in a recliner. Actually sit on the floor. Teach your body to remember movements it was designed to perform. Your muscles never completely forget. Sometimes they simply need to be reminded. Mega number 2, the walking test, a reflection of your heart and joint health. Now, let's move on to the second marker. Ask yourself this simple question. Can you comfortably walk for 30 uninterrupted minutes? I'm not talking about jogging or hiking uphill, just a steady, comfortable walk without stopping, because your knees ache, your hips tighten, or your breathing forces you to rest. If you can finish a half-hour walk feeling energized instead of completely exhausted, it's an excellent sign that both your cardiovascular system and your joints are still working together the way nature intended. This ability is more valuable than many people realize. Walking is the foundation of independence. It determines whether you can enjoy traveling, spend quality time with your grandchildren, run your own errands, or simply move through life without relying on someone else. Over the years, I've met countless men who told me they stopped walking because their knees were beginning to bother them. 5 years later, many of those same men struggled just to reach the end of their driveway. The problem wasn't that walking ruined their joints, stopping movement weakened them. Our joints are designed for motion. When movement disappears, stiffness and weakness usually follow. The men who continue walking often continue living life on their own terms. If 30 minutes feels impossible today, don't let that discourage you. Begin with 10 minutes. Then add another 2 minutes every week. Your body adapts remarkably well when you give it consistent opportunities to improve. It was built for movement maker number 3. The purpose test. Your desire to keep moving forward this next marker surprises many people. It has nothing to do with muscles. Instead, it measures something equally important. Do you still wake up with something to look forward to? Not every single morning. No one feels inspired all the time. But on most mornings, is there something that excites you? A personal project, a hobby, someone you're looking forward to seeing, a problem you want to solve, a destination you want to visit. Anything that gives your day a sense of direction, instead of making each morning feel exactly like the one before. This is one of the most overlooked indicators of healthy aging. Yet during my years in practice, I've watched men lose their sense of purpose long before they lost their physical strength. When a man stops wanting anything, his body begins to follow. Stress hormones gradually rise. Testosterone slowly declines. The immune system becomes less efficient. Heart health often suffers. The body quietly reflects the attitude of the mind. But the opposite is also true. When a man has something meaningful to pursue, his entire system receives a powerful message: keep going, we're not finished yet. If you've lost that feeling recently, don't worry about finding a huge purpose overnight. Simply choose one small goal. Write a new book. Learn a skill, call an old friend. Start a simple project you've been putting off. Purpose isn't something you wait to discover, it's something you build through action. Think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Before we continue, I'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Leave your city or country in the comments below. I genuinely enjoy reading where everyone is joining us from. Now, let's continue maker number 4, the grip test, a window into your overall strength. Here's another simple question. Can you carry your own grocery bags from the car into the house without feeling exhausted afterward? One full bag in each hand, up the steps, through the front door, into the kitchen, without your hands giving out, without your shoulders aching, without immediately needing to sit down and recover. If you can still do that comfortably, your grip strength, shoulder stability, back muscles, and overall functional strength are likely in much better condition than many men your age. Grip strength has become one of the most researched markers in modern medicine. Study after study has shown that a man's grip strength is closely connected to his future health. It has been linked to heart health, brain function, physical independence, and even life expectancy. In some research, grip strength has predicted long-term health outcomes even more accurately than traditional measurements like blood pressure. I've seen this pattern repeatedly throughout my career. The men with strong hands are usually the same men who continue driving themselves, maintaining their homes, helping their families, and living independently. Your hands reveal far more than most people realize. Strong grip usually reflects strong muscles, healthy connective tissues, a well-functioning nervous system. Grip strength tells an honest story, and unlike many health markers, it can improve surprisingly quickly. If your grip isn't what it used to be, don't ignore it. Spend just 2 minutes each day squeezing a stress ball, a hand gripper, or even a rolled-up towel. The improvement many people experience after only a few weeks often surprises them, because strength, even later in life, responds to consistent effort. Maker number 5. The memory test. A measure of mental sharpness now. Let's move beyond physical strength and focus on something just as important, your mind. Here's a simple question. Can you remember the name of someone you met about a week ago? Not a lifelong friend, not a family member. I'm talking about someone you were introduced to only once. Can you recall their name without someone reminding you? If you can, it's a strong indication that the memory centers of your brain are still forming and retrieving new connections effectively. It means your brain is continuing to absorb new information instead of simply relying on old memories. Many men assume occasional forgetfulness is just part of getting older. But that's not always true. As a physician, I want to emphasize something important. Frequently forgetting names, constantly misplacing everyday items, or feeling mentally foggy shouldn't automatically be dismissed as normal aging. They're often signals that your brain may not be getting enough of what it needs. Healthy blood circulation, quality, sleep, mental stimulation, meaningful conversations, and regular challenges that keep it active. Throughout my years of working with older men, I've seen many patients regain mental clarity they thought had disappeared forever. What changed? They became physically active again. They improved their sleep. They started learning new skills. They gave their brains a reason to stay engaged. One of the simplest ways to protect your memory is also one of the least expensive. Move your body every day. Ride something new each week. Challenge yourself with fresh ideas. Have real conversations instead of spending hours listening passively to background noise. Your brain remains adaptable throughout your 60s, 70s, and beyond. It continues changing based on how you use it. Treat it like something worth protecting because it is maker number 6. The composure test, your emotional strength. Let's talk about something many people overlook, your emotional resilience. Ask yourself this. Can you stay calm during a difficult conversation? When someone disagrees with you, criticizes you, lets you down, or tells you something you'd rather not hear, can you remain present? Can you truly listen without shutting down emotionally? Can you respond without losing your temper? This ability is called emotional regulation, and in my opinion, it's one of the greatest signs of maturity in a man over 60. Many men carry decades of disappointment, frustration, regret, or grief without ever talking about it. The problem is, the body remembers. Long-term emotional stress raises cortisol. It interferes with healthy sleep. It places extra strain on the cardiovascular system. It even affects memory and concentration over time. A man who constantly suppresses his emotions isn't only making relationships harder. He's placing additional stress on his own body. I've had patients arrive at my clinic complaining about chest discomfort, persistent high blood pressure, or years of insomnia. Yet after talking with them, the real issue often wasn't physical at all. It was decades of emotional weight that had never been processed. On the other hand, a man who can sit with discomfort, who can hear difficult truths without becoming defensive, who can express himself with calmness instead of anger, has developed a strength that many people never achieve. That kind of emotional stability doesn't just improve relationships, it also supports long-term health. If this is an area where you struggle, begin with something simple. The next time you feel yourself reacting emotionally, pause, take one slow breath in for 4 seconds. Then breathe out slowly for another 4. It sounds almost too simple, but physiologically it changes everything. Sometimes the strongest response is choosing not to react immediately. Maker number 7. The presence test. Your energy and influence, the final marker, may be the most meaningful of all. Ask yourself this question when you walk into a room. Do people feel better because you're there? Not because you're the loudest person, not because you're trying to entertain everyone, but because your presence brings calmness, confidence, stability. Do your grandchildren enjoy sitting beside you? Do your friends call simply because they enjoy talking with you? Do strangers feel comfortable around you after only a few minutes? Presence is difficult to measure with a medical instrument, but after years of working with older men, I can tell you this: it is one of the strongest indicators of true vitality. Some men walk into a room carrying peace, others walk in carrying tension. The difference has very little to do with age. It comes from the life they've built within themselves. A man who remains curious, who continues learning, who stays physically active, who treats others with kindness, who carries himself with quiet confidence, naturally becomes someone people enjoy being around. And that influence is incredibly valuable. Real strength isn't measured only by muscles. It's measured by the atmosphere you create wherever you go. Final thoughts now that we've gone through all 7 markers. I want you to think honestly. Which ones came easily? Which ones revealed an area that needs attention? Remember, this isn't about perfection. It isn't about comparing yourself to anyone else. It's about recognizing where you are today so you can become stronger tomorrow. Growing older doesn't automatically mean becoming weaker. More often than not, decline begins when we stop challenging ourselves. Keep moving, keep learning, keep connecting with people, keep giving yourself reasons to get out of bed each morning. Your age doesn't decide your future. Your daily habits do, and the wonderful thing is, those habits are still completely within your control. If today's video helped you in any way, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with another man who could benefit from hearing this message, because sometimes one conversation has the power to change the direction of someone's life. I'll see you in the next video.